Hey, look who's back with the 2 minute drill. It's Jim Monahan along with Chris Swendeman. Swendy, I have to ask you, what's on your hat?
So I thought it was very fitting that I wear this hat that I got up in Buffalo. It actually says Bills Mafia upside down. And if you've been following along with the Buffalo Bills for the past, 36 hours or so, you know that it's very fitting for everything that is going on with this team right now. And it's a little nod also paying homage to one of our favorite shows, Stranger Things, as well.
Yes, indeed, the upside down, in which, well, they have a new coach. Well, they're looking for a new coach with
Yep.
Sean McDermott out after 9 seasons, only one losing year among them,
Hmm.
five consecutive AFC East titles. The Jets would kill for something like that. Giants fans would lose their minds for something like that. And Sean McDermott has been shown the door.
You know what I liken it to, though, Jim? He got them as far as I think the ownership and management thought he could get them to go. Very much like the Knicks with Tom Thibodeau. He got them all the way to, the conference championship, which McDermott did twice in 20 and 24. But I don't think they had the confidence that he could get them over the hump. And you know what? When you have an all-world quarterback like Josh Allen, who's turning 30 in May, you don't want to waste any more time. This is a team that's never won a Super Bowl, had a long playoff drought before McDermott got there. And listen, everybody appreciates what he's done to get them to this point, but to get them to the next level, I just don't see it. And I didn't see it. They had so many chances to win that game. And I just think, yeah, Josh Allen picked a really bad time to have a bad game. That was clear, but they still only lost. They lost their last three playoff games by 3 points or less each single time. At some point, you got to look at the coaching. Like you said, one of your favorite lines, it's got to be the coaching. At some point, it is the coaching. And I just think McDermott, they went as far as they could with McDermott. And, now they have to start the search for who's going to take them to the next level.
You mentioned getting over the hump, and part of that hump is in 16 playoff games, McDermott's teams had an 8-8 record. And
Right.
so clearly, maybe it's time for a new voice in that locker room. Among the new voices who might be popping up, their names at least, Rex Ryan said the other day, Bill Belichick. Imagine that circus.
Going against the Patriots twice a year, going against the Jets twice a year, the NFL would be salivating. And anybody who said differently is a bold-faced liar. That would be must-see TV. And then add in maybe not the Jets, but the Patriots. Could you imagine these two meeting in the playoffs? That would be, they would probably break records of TV ratings for if Belichick is coaching the Bills against Vrabel and the Patriots. That would be insanity.
Now, one of the other names that's been thrown out there is former Giants head coach Brian Daboll. And I think that would be a huge mistake if Buffalo were to do that. But that's one of the things Rex Ryan said. Yeah, bring Dable in, but have him be the offensive coordinator under Bill Belichick.
See, now I like the idea of Dable because Dable had the best years Josh Allen has had were under Dable. He likes Dable a lot. And one of the things you can attest to as a Patriots fan, why was Tom Brady so successful? Because he was always in the same system. He had Josh McDaniels. McDaniels was his guy. And I think Dable was Allen's guy. No offense to Joe Brady, who is a great offensive mind and may be getting one of these head coaching jobs. But Dable and Allen had a very special relationship. And Allen loves Dable. So you bring in Dable under Belichick. Belichick is not long for the NFL life at this point. I mean, he's in his 70s. So Belichick retires. You raise Dable to head coach, and he gets to sit behind one of the greatest to ever do it. I mean, that's that's a sound game plan in my mind.
Where do you think Buffalo goes, Mr. Buffalo Bills fan?
So I don't know about Belichick because of the weird year he's had with North Carolina, but I do see why it would make sense. I honestly, if it's not in house with Joe Brady, I could really see it being Dable. I cringe at myself when I say it, but it makes too much sense. If it's Josh's guy, like everybody, all these experts have always said, and he flourished under Dable. If he gets the right defensive coordinator, and they need a good one, I think it could actually work. It's almost crazy enough to work, like they'd say.
Time will tell, obviously. Let's turn our attention to the Jets. But before I get there, the story of John Harbaugh, I think everybody knows it by this point.
Yep.
Chris Mara went down and had a 3 hour meeting with Harbaugh in Maryland and had a nice lunch. I understand they had some great chicken salad.
Lovely.
Chris talked about the Giants organization and what they've been trying to do. And Harbaugh talked about his time with the Baltimore Ravens and what he accomplished. And the plan was for John Harbaugh to drive from Maryland 190 miles up to New Jersey to
Hmm.
meet with the Giants. And they said, well, we're going to send a plane down for you because Tennessee was nipping at Harbaugh's heels. Like, we're not giving Tennessee a chance to do this. They fly John up. He has a great meeting with them. Bingo. We're signed for 5 years. This is what, and we talked about this last week with the Jets,
Hmm.
when they had what I felt was one option, and that was Mike Tomlin, who had announced he was stepping down from the Pittsburgh Steelers. Go get him. Do what it takes. Get him in the building. As one of our commenters posted on the video last week,
Hmm.
he's still under contract. He wasn't fired. Okay.
Right.
So figure it out.
Right.
Figure it out.
Sean
Money.
Payton was traded for.
Yeah. Draft picks. Do something. But
Right.
here's the deal. Sean McDermott's now available. And there's no compensation needed for
Nope.
that. And the Jets now are in a position, they've got two quality guys who are sitting out there. Do what the Giants did with Harbaugh. Get one, get both, get them in the building, sit them down. And again, to reiterate the point that I made last week, you owe it to the players. You owe it to your fan base who have been suffering God knows for how long. And you owe it to Aaron Glenn. How can you put that man through another season like what we just saw? So now you have two really, really good, qualified, successful head coaches out there. You have to get one of them. There's just no two ways about it. And given the fact that you've got two options, come on.
Now, I will tell you, Tomlin may be the issue I think with Tomlin is his willingness to want to coach this year. Everything I've read up on Tomlin, he wants to sit it out. He doesn't even know when he wants or if he wants to coach again. He may be the next Bill Cowher who just never comes back.
Mm-hmm.
Every year, remember when Cowher first took a year off? Every time a coaching cycle came up, it was where's Cowher going to go? And he just never came back. I could see that happening with Tomlin. He got in so young and put in his time. Maybe he just doesn't want to coach or whatever it is. But McDermott, let me tell you something. He knows the AFC East. And number two, he built a winning culture for an organization that had no winning for almost 17 years. Who does that sound like? It's too easy for Woody Johnson and the Jets right now. It's staring you right in the face. And you know what? That team doesn't need to win right now. Buffalo is at a different point now because of Sean McDermott. They are in win now. They have one of the best players in the NFL. They need to capitalize on that. The Jets need to even figure out how to string wins together. They need a winning culture built, and who better to do that than somebody that just did it for one of your rivals? He took them to 5 straight AFC East titles. I mean, Jets, are you paying attention, Woody? Because if you are, look at the blueprint the Giants just did. Like you just said, go get your guy. and McDermott should be the guy.
It's simple. You know what? We could take a little road trip down the street. Jets training facility is only
Yeah,
about a mile from where I am.
exactly.
Let's get this sucker done. Because I don't know how the fan base can go just through another season of this nonsense.
You know what the sad part is? Every pundit you hear talk about the Jets that say, "Well, when the Jets are in the hiring cycle for next year, because it's just a virtual certainty that Aaron Glenn will be fired after next year." What if you're already saying this? Why? What? What's the point of waiting another year? What, to see if he could turn it around? He's only had the worst coaching year of any Jet coach other than Rich Kotite. And if that's the benchmark that you're up against, it's time to just relieve him of his duties, rip the Band-Aid off, and start over. Because this didn't work.
Meanwhile, the Patriots and the Houston Texans both did their best Jets impressions yesterday. I texted you, I texted some of my family
Yep.
members, like, I feel like I'm watching a Jet game. That was as ugly a football game as I've seen in a long, long time, especially in the playoffs. Quarterbacks not being able to hold on to the ball, interceptions flying here and there. Drake May's really lucky that the defense bailed him out yesterday.
Yeah, that wasn't his finest performance, but I think, you know, as the stage gets bigger, the nerves get bigger.
Sure.
And I think that may hit the nerves. Last year, Bo Nix played against Buffalo, and you saw he was not prepared for the level of play to increase in the playoffs. It goes to everybody finds that next gear. Nix looked like a deer in the headlights. This year, look at what he did. I mean, he had a great game. This year, that's Drake May. Next year, could he be ready for it? But I mean, look at it's. I was texting you and I said, it's not fair to be the Patriots. You spent 1 year rebuilding and you literally are almost the road is paved for you guys to be in the Super Bowl without even blinking an eye, because now Bo Nix is out for the year and you have, oh, by the way, welcome back Jared Stidham. What's old is new again. He was on the Patriots, and now he's going to be facing your squad in the AFC Championship game. I mean, you got to tip your cap to the culture that Robert Kraft has brought to the Patriots. And another thing, go harken back to the Jets and Woody Johnson. Woody, they had a coach last year, the Patriots. Did Robert Kraft waste any time when Vrabel was available? What did he do? He fired Gerard Mayo and said, "Hey, Mike, come on in." And this is what the Jets should be using as a blueprint right now, because look at the difference between the teams. It's night and day.
If you had told me after the third week of the regular season, following a loss to Pittsburgh that was sloppy and just an inexcusable loss in game one to the Raiders, that the Patriots would be 60 minutes away from another Super Bowl, I would have said, you're crazy. There's no way it can happen. I expected, maybe a game above 500, maybe. Nothing like this whatsoever. And I think I agree with you that for Drake May, maybe the spotlight got a little, I know the weather was horrible yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
But for both teams, obviously.
Right.
But maybe the spotlight was a little too bright yesterday, and he was finally feeling it after a spectacular MVP-like season. Even if he doesn't get it, I don't think he will. I think he's going to come in second in the voting. But he had a marvelous season and a really horrible game yesterday.
Now, not only, and again, this all just circles back to the Jets because it's just too easy. Not only could the Patriots wind up in the Super Bowl, but how funny would it be if across the way from the Patriots are the Seahawks, led by, say it with me, Sam Darnold. That would be the most Jet thing ever to happen in the history of football. The Patriots, the sworn enemy and nemesis of the Jets, facing off in the Super Bowl against Jet QB castoff Sam Darnold. The most Jet thing to ever happen. I mean, You can't write it any funnier than that would be. Could you imagine the Jets and Woody Johnson sitting there having to watch the Super Bowl and oh yeah, that was our guy at one time, but we jettisoned him off to draft. Wait, look at notes. Zach Wilson. How'd that work out?
Why can't we get guys like that?
Exactly. You know what? We need a guy like Sam Darnold. Where do we find one of them?
Yeah, well, we know where they find them now, out in the West Coast.
Yeah,
All right,
exactly.
Swendeman, that's it for this week. You know the drill. Like, subscribe, tell your friends, tell your enemies. Just make sure you tell somebody. And you and your upside down Buffalo Bills Mafia cap, and me and the little Patriot knit cap will talk to you next week here on the 2 Minute Drill.
You got it, Jim. Have a good one.